Hi, this is Joseph Mattera. I'm so happy that you joined me as we unpack part 7 of the Jesus Principles. Today, we're going to talk about how he shared his power. Thus far, we've dealt with how he processed people. That was part 1. We dealt with how Jesus called people to walk in a certain way so that they could fulfill their destiny, meaning to become a fisher of men. That was part 2. Part 3, we talked about how he changed their identity, how their internal calibration was altered. Part 4, how he was personal with them. You can't just institutionalize discipleship. Part 5, he modeled leadership. The book of Acts says that Luke's narrative was all about what he began to do and teach, not teach and do. Part 6, it has to do with how he properly placed his disciples. And now we're going to go with how he shared his power. In Luke chapter 9, it says in verse 1 that Jesus called the 12 together, that is the ones he called to be apostles, and he gave them power and authority over all demons and to cure diseases. And so one of the things we learn here is the fact that if we are going to give someone responsibility, we have to give them the power to fulfill that responsibility. We can't just give them a title and or can't give a title to someone who doesn't have the power or the capacity to walk in it. And so Jesus was a genius in understanding how to build a movement, primarily just with 12 people. It wound up being 11 because Judas Iscariot, of course, betrayed him. But with 12 primary people, he began the greatest movement the world has ever seen. And he was willing to share his power. Oftentimes, we are not willing to share our power. We're not willing to give people the authority to do what they're called to do. When you give someone a responsibility, but they don't have a commensurate amount of power to fulfill it, or they don't have the capacity to fulfill it, then you're going to frustrate them. And so I hope you join me next week when we talk about how we delegated responsibility. And so this is Joseph Mattera signing off. Next week, we're going to deal with part 8. And so it has to do with delegated authority. You can purchase this book, The Jesus Principles, on my website, josephmattera.org, or at Amazon. God bless you, and I hope to see you next week.